They ruined an indigo child's life. Maybe strong-willed, independent thinkers who prefer to do their own thing rather than comply with authority figures/parents. This is part of the reason why the indigo child will end up as a homeless person. How can you be a successful businessman where you work in an important position inside some Judeo-Masonic corporation that is part of the stage setting of the habitat that is created for the cattle, if the indigo child can't comply with authorities, such as the corporation's boss? Each business that you see in the commercial districts of cities, they're all Masonically staged as part of the Goyim habitat, so that the Goyim partake of it, like pigs do, from a slop-filled trough that the farmer stages for them. An indigo child would rather engage in studying stupid things like writing shitty stories instead of learning a marketable skill. Have a wisdom and level of caring beyond their youthful experience. That's true. The child's peers are enjoying getting drunk, but the indigo child thinks it's stupid and can't fit in with the peers. The Masonic world ensures that the indigo child cannot care for any human being because the whole society is made rotten. An indigo child might pick up a stray cat and care for it, but they might just as well abuse a lizard at the same time, just so they can have some semblance of control over something, even over an insignificant creature like a lizard. Traditional parenting and discipline strategies don't appear effective with these children. If you try to force an issue, a power struggle is the typical outcome. That's why the Judeo-Masonic masters have subtly instilled the concept of parents beating such children for misbehavior. For example, if an indigo child cusses, then the father should beat that child as punishment. But then an indigo child throws out the following piece of logic. Get a load of this. The indigo child says that adults purposely invented cuss words and purposely pretend they are offensive in order to have an excuse to beat their children when they happen to use them. At this, an adult should really snap and beat the indigo child with a belt. What kind of obnoxious smart-assery is that? Adults purposely invented cuss words and deliberately pretend to be offended by them so they have an excuse to beat the child? What the fuck kind of thinking is that? If adults will not beat their indigo children to discipline them, then they are encouraged to medicate them with psychotropic drugs. Also, if you take an indigo child on a tour of a jail to show them a jail cell, instead of them becoming scared straight, they become mad and wish they could kill all the police officers and start suggesting things like, how about we all get together and tear down this jail instead of being scared of it? How about we kill the cops instead of being scared of them? What is it to you, you fucking police officer, if I commit a crime against someone I hate? Go do your own thing and leave me alone. It's such an infuriating form of reasoning that the indigo child projects. The child was supposed to quake in fear and plead with mom and dad that he will never do anything bad because he is scared of the jail cell. And he was supposed to gain a strong respect for the police officers instead. Energetically, indigos are vibrating at a much higher frequency, so they can get scrambled by negative energy. Emotionally, they can be reactive and may have problems with anxieties, depression, or temper rages, if not energetically balanced. The indigo children of this society were supposed to be genuine school shooters. That's what the elite were counting on in their script for the world. That's why they created so much negative energy in the world. to turn indigo children into mass shooters. But the problem is, they've deballed society so well that the best the indigo children can do is fantasize about being mass shooters without actually going through with it. So now the Illuminati have to stage fake mass shootings with crisis actors to fool the world into thinking that it's happening and we have to give up our guns. But I think they were counting on it being a real phenomenon. Often, indigos are diagnosed with ADD and ADHD since they appear impulsive. Their brain can process information faster, and they require movement to help keep them better focused. I could give examples, but I'm not going to. Indigos are very intuitive and may see, hear, or know things that may seem unexplainable. Again, I could give examples, but they are too personal. But here's a good one. How can an indigo child watch a TV show like CSI and eventually begin to hate the cops on that show and sympathize with the killers long before he learns that such TV shows are made by Jewish producers to get people to embrace the police state? It means the indigo child's mind has figured out that it's destructive propaganda without even being consciously aware that it is, only to be later vindicated when what they intuited is proven to be fact. Everyone thinks a surveillance camera is harmless, but the indigo child sees a future where humanity is imprisoned in a smart city. And that is long before the concept of a smart city is ever introduced. And that a few surveillance cameras here and there in the 90s will actually evolve into a smart city. And everybody at that time calls the indigo child crazy for such a prediction. Indigos may have more problems with food and environmental sensitivities since their system is more finely tuned. I guess that's why I'm tired and sick and weak most of the time. When their needs are not met, these children seem self-centered and demanding, although this is not their true nature. This is why an indigo child who lives in poverty and can't work because he is weak and can't work because he is autistic will suggest things like killing wealthy families who live in neighborhoods like this to augment the parents' income, killing and robbing them. If an indigo child could kill off a family in one of these houses and then move in after tossing out the cadavers, the indigo child will then revert back to a happy, caring person. He'll be like, okay, let's plant a garden. Let's build a dog house for the dog. Let's give some of this money I stole to my indigo child friends so they can be happy too. Let's emotionally support other indigo children. These children have incredible gifts and potential, but they may be shut down when not properly nurtured and accepted. I can't believe this. We injected this fucker with vaccines to make him into an autistic homo. We created TV shows to entice him into loving the police, and instead he sympathized with the murderers. And now he sits on fucking YouTube talking about how evil we are. Let this bitch fucking starve to death when he has no one left to care for him. We made sure you indigo children are known by society as selfish, mentally ill psychopaths. They ruined the indigo child's life by making him neurotic, so he developed a psychological condition that caused him to chew off skin on his fingertips until he developed vitiligo. Now the child has a negative sexual market value because of that, using, parlance that Stefan Molyneux uses. Now the indigo child has to pay a prostitute if he wishes sex because he has a negative sexual market value due to a self-inflicted skin condition.